Okay, so this is going to be an instructional / overview video of this brand new 2026 model Hymer MLT 580 Crosstrail. This is brand new to the 26 range. First of all, we're going to go around the external of the motorhome and then we will go into the habitation area. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to open the bonnet. Two reasons for this. One is so you know how to open the bonnet, and then two, I'm going to show you the terminal points in case you need to jump start the vehicle for any reason. So to open the bonnet, you need to come around to the passenger side, and then if you open the passenger door, you'll get access in the footwell to the bonnet release catch. All you need to do is pull that arm down once and that will then release. So as you can see, I've now got access to the bonnet area. So like I say, if you need to jump start the vehicle for any reason, here behind this red cap is going to be your positive terminal point. All you need to do is push and twist that in and that will then give you the terminal point. And then in the far corner up there, that nipple there, that's going to be your negative terminal point. Also under the bonnet we have got your screen wash fill, and then we have got AdBlue fill as well. So now we are going to carry on around the external of the motorhome. This vehicle does come fitted with an awning, and on the email you'll get sent a separate link how to set up and use the awning. So we will carry on around on the passenger side. So the first compartment is going to be your diesel fill, and you have to open the passenger door to access this. And then as you can see, I've got some lockers open ready. So in the first belly locker we have got your 4 lithium batteries. You can touch on here as well and it will give you an indication of the LEDs, how much is in the battery. We have a master switch there, so currently that is on, but you can switch this off so it isolates power going to the motorhome completely from the leisure batteries. You do have a little catch here what holds the belly locker door open. And then above that we have your 240 volt mains breaker. So this is where you'll come to when you plug into campsite and something potentially is tripped on the 240 volt side. Most of the time it is the campsite post that is tripped, or it could be a faulty mains cable, but this is where you would need to check in case. To the right we have your 12 volt system, so your e-box. So this is where all your 12 volt fuses are. So again, on the 12 volt side, if a fuse blows, this is where you need to check, and they are labelled up as well. Just so you know, there's a little switch there. If you do catch it by accident, it just needs to be in the EIN mode. There we go, it's focusing. Just needs to be in the EIN mode, and that will give the control panel and all the 12 volt system power. At the top up here, this is where your device is linked to through the app. So there is on this side here, you can press a button to in effect start the pairing, but you can pair through the app as well. And we have got a sticker here which is indicating the drain valves, and the drain valves are just to the right here. So the first valve you see is your frost protect valve. So that black valve there with a diamond lever on top is called your frost protect valve. So that is actually your valve for the boiler. So this is called a frost protect valve because it triggers 6 degrees or less. So if the temperature is cold inside, it's on a magnet and it will automatically trigger. If you want to close this valve, because you want to obviously fill up your boiler with water, How to do this is twisting the diamond valve on top, like so, and then push this blue button in lower down. If the blue button stays in, that means the valve is completely closed. If the blue button doesn't go in, you may need to warm up the motorhome just to get some heat in here, because this is heated as well, and then you will be able to close the valve. If you want to open the valve manually to drain it out, how you do this is twist this diamond valve on top. That'll pop the button out, and then you can drain all the water out of the boiler. So really, obviously, if you're draining everything for winter or you're not using it for a few weeks, then it is worth draining. So like I say, button out, that means the valve is still open. The valve is in line. Twist it, the button's still out, that means the valve is still open, so it will drain out. Push the button in, the button's in, that means the valve is completely closed. If it does reach a cold temperature, basically this button will pop out automatically, and then the water, or the contents of the water in the boiler, will drain out. Behind that there is a little blue valve as well. Just trying to focus for you, there you go. So that is just a drain tap for the excess water in the pipe work. So you can open this as well. So that is a valve that you need to shut. Twist it clockwise to shut, and obviously anti-clockwise to open. So this is in effect your service area where you need to come to. Next to that we have your boiler flue. So this does get quite hot when it's on gas, because this is where the fumes do exhaust from. Then in this locker here we have your toilet cassette. So if you want to take out your toilet cassette to empty or clean, what you need to do is this green tab lower down, lift this up, pull the cassette towards you. And then as you can see, it comes with a breathable pipe on top. All you need to do is disconnect this pipe, and then you will get a blanking plate which goes onto the top of this cassette here. Once you've done that, slide the cassette out. And as you can see, it is quite a large cassette. And if you want to empty or clean this cassette, to empty it, what you need to do is this nozzle on the left here, twist it out to the left. If you take this green cap off and then tilt up the cassette, that will then release the fluids. But if you put your thumb on the button at the top, that lets air into the cassette at the top, so all the fluids flow out a lot faster. Other than that, you can actually open the cassette blade and clean internally with an hose pipe, or you can put your chemical in here as well. Once you've cleaned your cassette, just align it back in place. Slide it back in, take your blanking plate off, and then make sure you put this aerated hose back on, and then you can slide the cassette back into place. The main thing here is just making sure that this clip here is securely down, because then in transit your cassette is not going to move in or out. Here we have your water fill. So basically, Habitation key, take this blue cap off, put the hose pipe in, and when the water starts to come back out here, or you might see the water coming directly underneath the motorhome, it will have an overfill valve. And basically once the fresh water tank is full and you see the water pouring out underneath, that means you can turn the hose pipe off, put this cover back on. If you get water pouring straight out as soon as you turn the tap on, that means you've left the fresh water tank drain valve open, and the drain valve is in the garage, which we'll get to. Next locker is going to be your gas locker, as well as you do have an extra toilet cassette on this Crosstrail range. So you got a spare toilet cassette, because this is made for being off-grid, rugged. You can remove this shelf if you want to. There is some little clips there, so if you want to get taller gas cylinders in there, you can do, and put the cassette in the garage, or keep the cassette at home if you only think you need one. But then if you keep the shelf in, you can only get 6 kilogram tanks in there. They are quite tight, so what you need to do to get them in is lift the shelf up, get the two 6 kilograms in, and then put the shelf back down. So as you can see, we've got two areas you can fit them to, and then we've got your gas regulator here and an LPG hose. One thing to keep in mind on this hose, basically it's got a purger, so when you connect up to the tank and turn the gas on, you do need to press this black button in, and that will just purge the gas through the system. It's a safety feature in case of an accident. If the hose disconnects, this will hopefully stop the gas coming out as well. As you can see in here as well, we've got a grey hose, and basically this grey hose is to extend the grey waste drain valve. The grey waste drain valve is behind the rear axle on the driver's side, so if you're not close to a grid, you can extend it that metre to reach the grid. And then the last part on the passenger side is going to be the garage. So we've got a large garage space in here. We have got tie down points all the way around, and as you can see, we've got eye-hole hooks there which slide around. The garage is heated as well. We've got tie down points lower down on each side, so if you've got bikes in here you can tie them down. We have got lights in the garage. One thing to keep in mind is that you do need to turn these off, because when you turn the 12-volt system on, if these are left on, these will just stay on. So you could be in the motorhome, which is fine, you might be plugged in, but these will just always be on unless you switch them off here. Here you can see another 240-volt breaker. This breaker is connected to this inverter behind this cover. So they have actually made this a bit easy to access, but that is where your inverter is. I'm going to try and show you this the best as possible, but lower down there is a rocker switch. You've got three settings. You've got on, off or remote. If you leave it into the remote setting, then you can switch it on and off in the habitation area, which we will get to. So currently that's in the remote setting. I don't need to do anything. If I plug the motorhome in at campsite to charge, as long as I've turned the inverter off on the button internally, then the mains power coming in will charge the leisure batteries and give you 240 volt. If you're off grid, that's when you turn your inverter on to give yourself 240 volt sockets in the motorhome. So that is where your inverter is, and then again you've got a mains breaker up there as well. So that is everything on the passenger side. As you can see, we've got a spare wheel on this vehicle, and then we do have a ladder to climb up onto the roof. It's just got a security key here. You just need to unlock this lock, and then the ladder will fold down. So now we are on the driver's side of the Habitation. Again, we'll go into the garage area. So we've got infill cushions, so this is to make up the dinette to berth in the front area, because this is a 4 travel 3 berth motorhome. You've got your awning winder in here, and then in this box, what comes standard with the brand new motorhome, it comes with a bottle jack, inflation kit, and because this is the Crosstrail, it comes with an axe, shovel, all the things that you need to be straight off grid and to try and help you to get out. And then all your instructions and everything are inside this box. These are the tie-down points. All you need to do is undo them, slide them along the rail wherever you need, and tighten them back up. Obviously we've got some shelving as well, but in here, this is the access point to your freshwater tank drain valve. So as you can see, we've got some stickers here indicating how to use the valve and how it works. So basically, clockwise to close the black valve fully, which I'll show you behind this cover, and then anti-clockwise ×2, that will open the valve completely, and basically all the water will drain out of the freshwater tank. The sticker on the left, that is indicating if you want to travel with 20 litres of water. The reason for this is just in case you want to reduce weight. Instead of carrying a full fresh water tank, you can reduce this and just carry a rough gauge of 20 litres. And how you do this is basically close the valve completely full, fill the tank up halfway, or if the tank's already full and you want to drain before travelling, and then all you need to do is open the valve a quarter turn, and that will then lift the valve up ever so slightly and drain the excess water in the tank, and then that will give you a rough gauge of 20 litres for travelling with. But behind this cover, you just pull it off, and then at the back, that black knob there, that is the drain valve. So again, 2 full turns clockwise, that will close the valve. 2 full turns anti-clockwise, that will open the valve. And if the valve is closed, a quarter turn anti-clockwise, that will open the valve to drain the water to rough gauge of 20 litres. Here we've got your plate which hangs your axe, your saw and your shovel on here. As you can see, we've got 240 volt sockets, 3-pin sockets, got 12 volt socket there, and then we have got your external shower. So this is in the garage. Again, mixer tap, hot and cold. The hot will only work if you've boiled the water in the Truma system. The Truma system is not instant hot water, but you have got a mixer tap, and it is on a lever here as well. I'm just going to turn this light off. So as I was saying, directly below, behind the axle, that is your grey waste drain. So if you need to extend it to reach over a grid, you just need to get that extension piece from the gas locker, and that just slides onto here. Other than that, if you're directly over the grid, this is controlled in the cab area, which we'll get to. You do have to have the engine on, I think, for this, but basically you flick the switch, it opens the valve electronically, and then when you are driving, I think it does close the valve completely, so there's stuff not coming out. But yeah, this is your grey waste drain valve. Above that, we have got your mains hookup, so that's where you connect to for shore connection. So that will obviously charge up your ledger batteries, give you shore 240 volts power as well for the sockets. Obviously you have got an inverter as well, so if you're off grid, then you'll be just using your ledger batteries. And that is everything external wise on this Hymer MLT 580 Crosstrail. You can see there's a light bar at the top. The light bar is controlled in the cab area, which we'll get to again. The light bar does only work with your high beam on, just so you can't just have the light bar on because how powerful it is. So now we'll go into the habitation area. One tip on the habitation doors, they are quite hard to open. Some people pull on them, but to give it make it a little bit easy to open, if you put your thumb at the top and your fingers behind and then lever it up, it will then release. Some people pull on it, they need to lever it. So now we are in the habitation. Directly above the habitation door, touch the touchscreen once, it will load up. It takes a few minutes or 30 seconds. This was quite fast this time, but sometimes it does take a little longer when it's not been touched for a while. It's asking for a software update. I'm just going to do that for later. But on this control panel, I'm going to try and show you it the best as possible. But basically, this is your home screen. As you can see up here, it's giving me the vehicle battery level. On the right hand side, it's giving me the leisure battery level. which is at 97%. Bottom left, it's showing fresh water, and then the bottom right, it is showing my grey waste. So that's giving you a rough percentage. I'm just trying to, the light glare. So yeah, that's a quick overview there. Here on the left, we've got a 12 volt. So currently it's in like an orangey colour. Basically that means the 12 volt system is on. If I press it, it will turn everything off on the 12 volt system in the Habitation. Turn all the lights back on, press it, and it will turn everything back on the 12 volt system. Plug socket in the middle. The plug socket means when you connect it to mains hookup, that will give you an indication. If it lights up, that means you've got sure power. If it doesn't light up, then there's potentially a fault somewhere, you're not getting power. Water pump, so that's on the right, touch it and it will light up orange. Again, on your water pump, you only want to turn this on when you do want to use the pump, or when you've got water in the system. The reason for that, it is actually run by a micro switch on the taps, but if one of the taps is open ever so slightly and the pump is on the control panel, it will just pump water, or if the water is, if the tank is empty, you won't hear it, but the micro switch will run the pump and you could potentially burn out the motor. So I'd only turn on the pump once when I'm priming the system. Once you've got the system pressurized, you can leave the pump on, but like I say, if the water is empty, just be cautious about that micro switch on the tap, where it does run the pump still. And then we've got quite a few different settings you can go through. So you've got commercial, top. So some of these are doubling up the switches, but basically you can turn on the lights on the front of the Habitation area. You can turn the brightness, temperature. You can turn the fridge on from here, or you can turn the fridge on from the fridge itself. Personal, same, you got light switch. The lighting on the personal is at the rear of the motorhome. Again, brightness and light temperature. Installation, so the top one, we've got heater, so you can turn on the heating system from here. Electric, you can run it off diesel, electric, or both. If you're running it off both, you need to make sure you've got mains hookup connection. And then you've got your boiler as well here, eco and hot. But you can control all this by the Truma control panel. You've got 12 volt switch, which is on the home screen. Boiler again, that's just for the hot water. And then you've got water pump, which is on the home screen again. Vehicle details, so this shows you fresh water, grey waste. You got your power, so it shows your battery voltage, state of charge. If you're connected to power, show solar voltage, solar current. You've got chassis information, so it shows you the mileage, your fuel level, add blue level here as well. You can see all this through the app, you see. You've got central locking, wireless sensors. You can buy some extra components as well to have more sensors. So it is good to have a play around with, just to see what all the things do. But that is your master control panel for the Habitation. Underneath that, this little black dome, that is your thermostat. So that's where the thermostat's controlled for heating, to knock the heating on or off. We'll start in the cab area. So as you can see, we've got some reading lights, and then there is a USB point as well. Same on the passenger side, there is just a button on the back, you just turn them on and off. We'll have fly screen and blackout blinds, blackout screen, and then above that is the fly screen connected together. As you can see, I've got the passenger and driver's seat swiveled. If you do want to swivel these seats, to swivel, it's the lever in the middle to release the mechanism, and then this little lever here is to slide the seat back and forth. One thing to keep in mind when you are swiveling the seats, just make sure that you are either open the doors, because basically the seats sometimes can catch the door cards and you just might get a little scratch on there. So it's either open the doors and swivel them, or if you get used to it, just make sure the seat is far enough forward so it misses the door, and then you'll be fine. In the footwell on the passenger side, we do have a little toolkit in there. Basically, it's just your towing eye and the footwell. We have got your media, climate control as well. In the top, we have got charging ports. That is a wireless pad as well. So if your phone has wireless charge, if you put it there, it will charge wirelessly, and there's a 12-volt socket. Lots of cup holders. And then we've got the nice Mercedes steering wheel, cruise control, speed limit, all that stuff. On the right hand side, we've got heated seats, driver and passenger on this one. That is where your light controls are, and then you've got an electric parking brake. And then on the other side of the steering wheel, we've got your stop start push button, and then lower down is some controls. So the left control here, that is your grey waste drain valve. So basically slide this little tab down, hold the button, as you can see the red lights on, and basically that is opening the grey waste. So that's going to empty all the grey waste. Next one here, it won't light up because I've not got the engine going, but basically if you press that, that will light up there, and that is for your light bar. Like I said before, the light bar will only work with high beam. You got hill descent, and then on the far right, this is a nice little feature, but basically if you get comfortable, ready to set off, and then when you turn the engine on, you might hear a beep. What that beep is indicating that the electrical fold out step is out. But the beauty of this, if you just press it, look in your mirror, you'll see the step fold in. It's a great little feature, just in case, like I say, you've got comfortable, ready to set off, and you forgot about the electric step. To close the grey waste, just knock it back up like so. Here we have your 2 travel seats at the rear, and then this table does swivel around, and also this table is used for the dinette to berth area. Basically you lift it up and it locks, you push it down and locks into place, and then to get it back in its solid position, basically slide it all the way up, push it down, and it'll lock into place. But this is it moves around as well. In this cupboard above the dining table, you can see we've got some controls. The one on the far right, that is your Truma control panel. So that, again, you can either control it by the Hymer control panel or use the Truma control panel. I recommend using the Truma control panel more than the Hymer touchscreen, just because that is obviously connected, original part in effect, to the Truma system. But you'll get sent a separate link on the email how to use this control panel. And then this black one here, this is connected to your inverter. So this is the Dometic switch, and this is what I was saying about the remote. So if you leave it on remote on the inverter, all you need to do, press this button, you've got a blue light. So now I can plug 2 40-volt sockets in, and they will work, they'll run off the leisure battery. Because it's on remote, I can just switch it on and off here. If I want to plug in at campsite, if I switch it off, press an order, I think it is, there we go, shut down. So if I plug in at campsite, make sure I've switched that off, so then the motorhome is getting charged and charging the leisure batteries, as well as giving you 2 40-volt sockets. We've got 3-pin socket, got Type C and USB sockets. Again, Type C on the light. We've got these lights which are run off Type C. You can move them around the vehicle. They're slotted onto these rails. We've got this light up here, which is plugged in on a 12-volt socket just in the corner. But basically you can hang this cable up here, so it's then dangling above your dining table as like a little chandelier. But the beauty of it as well, because it has got about a 3-meter cord on it, you could actually plug it in to use outside as well, which is quite handy. Here we have your kitchen area. So we have a pull-out side table, or give you more workspace. Got a 3-ring gas burner. One safety advice we do recommend is just this glass cover. Leave the glass cover up after use. The reason for that is because of the temperature difference in the glass and the stove. You could potentially shatter the glass. So I always recommend to let the stove cool down, and then you can put this down. Every window again has a blackout blind and fly screen. But if you have got this window open and the cooking on the stove, obviously if it's got a bit of a breeze behind, the glass will get colder, so you don't want to shut that on a really hot stove. We've got your kitchen sink with a chopping board and sink cover. And basically now we're going to prime our system. So how we're going to do that, the first thing we need to do is shut all the drain valves. So we need to shut the frost protect valve, the black valve. There's a blue little valve behind that. Shut that valve, which is on the pipe work. So that's 2 valves up to now. The next one is your fresh water tank valve. Make sure that's shut. Access from the garage. And then your grey waste valve as well. So obviously you're not pouring any sink waste straight out of the motorhome. So there's 4 valves you need to shut. Once you shut that, all you need to do is put the hose pipe into the fill valve, fill the fresh water tank completely full. And once you've done that, then we'll come up to our control panel, turn it on the 12 volt system, and then turn on the pump. When we turn the pump on, open the tap on the cold side. That's going to run the pump, and then when you get a steady flow, it will get rid of all the air in the pipework. When you get a steady flow of water on the cold side, you can shut the tap. Now we're going to prime our hot water, and basically how that works, open it again, and what this is going to do now, it's going to take fresh water from the fresh water tank, but then it's going to put it into your boiler, and then from your boiler will come through the tap. Your boiler holds around 10 to 12 litres of your fresh water, so this may take a few minutes longer. Again, once you get a steady flow, shut the tap. That means your pipe work, your full water system is ready to use when you need. The only thing you need to do is boil that water. As you can see, we've got 2 40 volt sockets, and then in this drawer here you have got a pull out drawer there, and then we've got some internal gas valves. So them gas valves there are for your internal appliances. So like your hob, if the hob goes faulty, you can isolate, twist this valve, isolate the hob, and still use the gas on anything else. And then to lock all the drawers and cupboards, the button's currently out, but to lock it, push it in, and that will lock all the drawers or cupboards with that kind of system on it. Here we have your fridge freezer. So this is a compressor fridge. This runs off your leisure batteries. To turn this on, press and hold, and then it will fire up. And then we've got temperature in the middle for your fridge, and then we've got your freezer, and then we've got the moon symbol, which is the night mode. So to change your temperature on the fridge, press and hold here. It will flash once, and then you can select your desired temperature. Higher is colder, lower is warmer. Again, you can turn the freezer off. No, sorry, you can't. You can, on the freezer, you got low and high settings. Again, if you want to turn it, press and hold. Wait for it to flash. There we go. Oh, so you can turn the freezer off as well. I thought you could. So you can turn the freezer off, or if you want to select a temperature, again, 3 is cold and the lower number is warmer. And then we have got a moon symbol on the right. Basically, if you turn this on, this is the night symbol. Press and hold. There we go. It's just a touch, it's not a press and hold. But turn on the moon symbol. Basically, that is night mode. So if you turn on night mode, basically what that's going to do, it's going to run the fan, the RPM of the speed of the fan lower, so then the fridge runs quieter at night. To turn it off, press and hold the power button and it will then shut down like so. So that is your kitchen area. We've got a tall slim cupboard at the side of the fridge freezer. Got hanging space in here. You also can get, if you are a tall person, so this single bed here, you can from the factory get it factory ordered. You can get this bit cut out here, so it gives you a longer bed. You still get the cupboard lower down and a little cupboard higher up, but it just cuts this segment out here. We've got obviously your twin single beds. You can make up this front part. There's an extra cushion there and an infill which slots on here and makes you into a large double king size bed. Again, we've got them USB Type-C lights on each side, so these are, you can move these around and plug them back in. You've got sockets and USB up there as well. Light switches at the rear. And then you've got storage all above. And then underneath this single bed, we've got more hanging space. And you've got lots of storage lower down. You've got a light in here. Again, same in the garage. Make sure you turn that off, otherwise it's always on. As standard on the Crosstrail, it comes with Wi-Fi, and that is where your Wi-Fi box is currently stored. And there is a rocker switch. So just keep an eye on that rocker switch just in case you knock it, putting stuff in there. So if the Wi-Fi is off, just check that rocker switch. And then if you do make up this the bed area, the conversion, basically it makes these steps redundant. So to get around that, we have got a nice little fold away step which is stored in this step. Basically that extends a step, so then when you use the infill piece you can still climb on and off the bed. The last part I'm going to show you is in the shower cubicle, your integrated shower room with a toilet. So we've got your shower cubicle there, and then we've got ductboard at the bottom which makes the floor level, but you do need to remove this ductboard to use the shower tray because you need to then get the shower screen out. We've got toilet roll dispenser lower down here, again heated in here as well, so if you've got any wet clothes you can hang the wet clothes up in the shower cubicle and dry them out. Got light switches in the corner, and then we've got your toilet. If you want to use your toilet, basically currently the toilet cassette is closed. To open it you just twist this here, and as you can see it moves the valve. In the middle, the blue button is your flush, so you need your pump on for this, so you press that and that will use fresh water to swill out the bowl. And at the left of it there's an indication, 3 little dots. They will light up and give you a gauge of the toilet cassette, and then obviously when it's full all 3 dots will light up. So when it does say there's 3 dots and it is full, that means it is full. So make sure you either swap it for your spare cassette or you go and empty it. So that is the instructional / overview video complete of this brand new 2026 model Hymer MLT 580 Crosstrail. If you have any more questions, leave a comment below. You can always drop us an email or give us a call. We have got a few more of these on factory order, or if you want to do a factory order yourself, call today. We can go through a configurator and spec the vehicle you need.